Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a great day. A couple things I wanted to cover today. One right off the top was the Karmelo Anthony guilty verdict that happened yesterday. To anybody that was following the case, it was really no surprise that he was ultimately found guilty. And for those people that are out protesting that justice wasn't served, I don't know, it's hard to argue when there's a ton of witnesses. There's video to a certain extent. He brought a knife, even though, I'm here for self-defense, but, he's a student participating in a student event, although it was a rival school, bringing a knife. Why did he need to bring a knife? On school property and all this other stuff. I mean, again, I'm for self-defense, but there's just very little here to prove that self-defense was warranted in this particular case. But at any rate, again, was not a surprise that he was found guilty. It's unfortunate, ultimately, because this is a kid who definitely made a wrong decision. And, it was just probably a series of bad decisions in his life in general that ultimately led him to this particular really bad decision. He was apparently a 3.7 GPA student. I mean, he was a smart kid. Now he's going to spend the next, at least, maybe max 30 some odd years in prison for a really bad choice. Can't say I don't agree with the outcome again, but it is ultimately unfortunate. But the other thing I wanted to cover is I'll start off with the annoying thing about voter fraud and what Democrats say, when people say that fraud happens in elections. Now, I will say that certain states create the opportunity for fraud, but they've eroded their election laws so much that it makes proving it exceptionally difficult, because sans having like a James O'Keefe style intervention caught on video, you're not going to catch it. You're just not going to catch it. I mean, again, I've covered other videos where I talk about certain states that have extremely lax registration, voting laws, ballot harvesting, and all the such, and extended periods to actually receive votes that can be backdated. But nonetheless, the annoying thing that you'll constantly hear is, well, show me the proof. Show me the proof. Well, there's no incentive for any of these states to prove that election fraud is happening. It's in the interest of all of the elected folks within that state to not find it. And I will say again, this isn't a Republican or a Democrat issue or a Republican issue. This is ultimately why you have elected leaders in the Senate and many in the House that don't want to put out federal regulations on, say, mail-in voting and day of voting, put restrictions around who can register, U.S. citizens to register to vote, because all of these people, mostly Democrats, but even some Republicans, rely on these loose voting regulations to maintain their power in whatever elected position they have, whether it's at the city level, at the state level, at the county level, at the federal level, doesn't matter. All of these people leverage these loopholes that have been created. Actually, I won't even say loopholes, I'll just say loosening of restrictions to their advantage. I will say that it would behoove Republicans to create a ground game in the states, leverage these rules in your favor, right? Like, get a Scott Pressler to do ballot harvesting, to get out there and do voter registration drives in these deep blue states. I guarantee that you're probably going to find that Republicans may start picking up some additional votes there. But at any rate, I just find it annoying when, Democrats are out there saying, oh, well, show me the proof, show me the proof. Like, it's absolutely frustrating because none of these states actually want to do anything about it. And in the rare cases that they do, these people just end up getting back out and then getting in the same kind of routine and campaigns that they were doing previously. The other thing is the intentional conflation within certain issues, specifically immigration and specifically mail-in voting. So this is super annoying. And again, this is a specifically a Democrat thing. They will say, well, Trump mails in his vote. He participates in mail-in voting. No, he does not participate in mail-in voting. He participates in absentee voting. Absentee voting is completely different than mail-in voting. In a mass mail-in state, they mail ballots to everyone, regardless of whether you want them or not. California is case in point of this, but there are many other states that actually do this as well. Absentee voting is different. Absentee voting is when you can't make it, you can't make it, or there's a medical reason, you have an exemption, and you request that ballot gets sent to you. It is not automatically sent to you. You request it. You have to. In many of the states, Virginia, I had this, which was you had to request the ballot. You had to provide your driver's license number. And there's a process for it. But in mass mail-in states, they just send votes to everyone. Every registered voter, regardless of whether you requested it or not. That is not absentee voting. That is mass mail-in voting. And it's annoying because they want to conflate it to say that people that vote absentee are doing the same thing that mail-in voting is. While, yes, you do mail in the vote for absentee, you have to request it. Typically, you have to provide a proof of ID. At any rate, it's annoying. People do it all the time, mostly Democrats when they're talking about this subject. The other is immigration versus illegal immigration. And you'll see it all the time, which is when you're talking about deporting illegal immigrants, or AKA illegal aliens, they will say, oh, you don't support immigration? Well, no, I support immigration, legal immigration. People that request go on and get H-1Bs, there's that process. There is marriage visas. There are student visas. There are a lot of legal ways to come into the U.S. I would say there's probably too many legal ways, but nonetheless, there are legal ways to come into the U.S. Now, if you're crossing the border illegally, that's not immigration, that's illegal immigration. We can't vet those individuals necessarily, only if they're caught. We can vet them to a certain extent. I mean, now if you're caught, you're going back, which is the way it should always be. But say under like a Biden presidency, where the floodgates were just kind of opened and tens of millions of people came in illegally, weren't vetted. When they were caught, they were just released to the interior of the U.S. Many of them went to New York City and Chicago and D.C., Philadelphia. That is not immigration. That's illegal immigration. And we need to do everything we can to stymie that level of illegal immigration. Nobody should be able to come in, whether it's by a boat or a plane or illegally crossing the border. Nobody should be able to jump the line in front of people that are trying to get in here legally. I can't. But every time you hear it, Democrats will always say immigration. They conflate intentionally illegal immigrants into immigration to frame the debate around immigration, when it's really about, there's a fundamental difference between people that are trying to get in here legally and those that want to get in here illegally. Just annoying, something I wanted to bring up. And it's just annoying, if you ever have a debate with somebody about this, make sure you're framing, or in this case, reframing the debate around making the distinction between legal immigration and illegal aliens. Completely different. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comment section below. Not many opinions today, but just kind of reviewing some stuff. But again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, keep believing that the best is still ahead for America. Peace.